Have you ever wondered what would happen if you found yourself completely alone? No support, no backup, just you and the world around you. Can you survive? Would you be able to cope with challenges? Or would you struggle without anyone to turn to? These are questions we rarely ask ourselves, but they hold a lot of weight. Life throws unexpected situations at us, and the truth is, sometimes we might have to face them alone. The ability to survive on your own, mentally and emotionally, is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Imagine this. You're walking down the street, the busy crowd around you, everyone hustling and bustling, but deep down, you feel disconnected. You're surrounded by people, yet loneliness creeps in. That feeling of isolation doesn't go away easily. It's during these times that we must learn how to stand on our own feet, to be prepared for when life tests our resilience. Buddhism teaches us a lot about finding inner strength and peace in the face of solitude. Welcome to Wisdom Woven. In this video, we're going to explore the idea of surviving alone, the Buddhist way. We'll look at how you can tap into your own inner power and wisdom to handle life's toughest moments. You'll discover transformative practices and mindset shifts that can help you feel confident in facing challenges on your own. If this sounds like something you want to learn, make sure to stay with us till the end. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of viewers subscribe. So, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel to join the journey of inner growth and self-reliance. Your support helps us bring more valuable content just for you. In the next few moments, we'll uncover the wisdom that can make you strong, resilient, and truly independent. It's time to explore the power within you. So, let's dive into the first step of surviving alone with a strong, calm, and focused mind. Stay tuned. The nature of impermanence, adapting to change. Life is full of changes. It can be sudden, unexpected, and even overwhelming at times. One moment, everything might seem perfect, and the next moment, it all slips away. This is the reality of life. Everything is impermanent. This idea of impermanence is at the heart of Buddhist teachings, and it is one of the most profound lessons we can learn when it comes to surviving alone. You've probably experienced it in your own life. Maybe you've lost a job, had a friendship fade away, or seen your plans fall apart in an instant. When we hold on tightly to the things around us, we forget that change is the only constant. It's natural to feel upset when something we depend on is no longer there. But when we understand that nothing lasts forever, we learn to adapt more easily to the ebb and flow of life. Impermanence teaches us that nothing is permanent, whether it's happiness, sadness, pain, or joy. Life is a series of moments, each fleeting and moving quickly. Understanding this truth helps us stay calm in the face of difficulties and embrace change instead of resisting it. When we accept that things will change, we can let go of fear and worry because we know it's only temporary. This realization gives us peace and allows us to survive even the toughest times, whether alone or with others. The truth of impermanence is not something to fear, but something to embrace. In Buddhism, this concept is known as anicca, the understanding that everything is subject to change. If we learn to accept change, we free ourselves from the pain that comes from attachment. Think about how difficult it is to hold on to something that is slipping through your fingers. The harder you try to keep it, the more it slips away. But when you accept that it's leaving, you can let go with grace. This principle applies to all aspects of our lives. Relationships, possessions, even emotions, they all come and go. When you are alone, facing a challenging situation, remember that this too shall pass. The emotions, the discomfort, the uncertainty, it's all temporary. Just like the passing of clouds in the sky, everything moves. You might feel lost, confused, or afraid at the moment, but these feelings are not permanent. They are simply waves that will eventually pass, leaving space for clarity and calm. When we understand the nature of impermanence, we begin to build resilience. We stop depending on external factors to make us feel secure. We learn that our peace does not come from things or people, but from the way we respond to change. Instead of fearing the unknown, we start to find comfort in the idea that change is natural. It's the way life works, and it's okay. You don't need to fight it. You just need to flow with it. This mindset can make all the difference when you find yourself alone. Maybe you've lost someone close to you, or you're facing a difficult situation where it feels like everything is falling apart. In these moments, you'll remember that everything is impermanent. The sadness, the loneliness, and the pain are temporary. What you can control is how you respond to it. You can choose to accept the change and use it as an opportunity for growth. Let's take an example. Think about a storm. When a storm comes, it's intense, loud, and frightening. The winds howl, the rain pours down, and everything seems chaotic. But storms don't last forever. Eventually, the clouds break and the sun shines again. The storm may have caused damage, but it's over. The calm returns. Similarly, the tough moments in life, those storms of emotions, are temporary. By remembering that nothing lasts forever, we can hold on to hope that peace will return. Adapting to change isn't about avoiding difficulties or pretending that everything is okay. It's about facing those challenges with the knowledge that they won't last forever. When you embrace the impermanence of life, you stop clinging to the idea that things must stay the same. Instead, you open yourself up to the flow of life, ready to face whatever comes your way. You no longer have to fear the loss of control because you know that everything, good or bad, is in constant motion. In the practice of mindfulness, which is central to Buddhism, we focus on the present moment. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. The only thing we truly have is the present. By staying grounded in the present, we stop worrying about what's gone or what might come. We simply experience what is happening right now. This helps us stay centered, even in the midst of change. When everything around us is in flux, our inner calm can be our anchor. As we learn to live with impermanence, we also begin to develop an understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. Nothing exists in isolation. Everything is connected, and every moment influences the next. Just like a tree standing in a forest, it grows, changes, and eventually falls, making space for new life. In the same way, every change in your life creates space for something new. Perhaps a better version of yourself, new opportunities, or a deeper understanding of your own strength. By accepting impermanence, we can stop holding on to the past and stop fearing the future. We learn to live fully in each moment, appreciating what we have without trying to hold on too tightly. Life, in its essence, is about flow. It's about moving with the current rather than against it. When you're alone, it's easy to get lost in thoughts of what's missing or what could be different. But the more you accept that change is natural, the more you can let go of these thoughts and find peace in what is. You don't need to hold on to anything or anyone to survive. You already have what you need within yourself. When you face a difficult moment, whether alone or not, remember, everything is impermanent. You will get through it. You will adapt. And just like the storm, the sunshine will return. Mindfulness, building inner strength. When we talk about surviving alone, we often think of physical strength, resources, or even our ability to fend for ourselves. But there is something even more important when it comes to facing life's challenges on your own: the strength of your mind. One of the most powerful tools in your mental toolkit is mindfulness. Mindfulness, in its simplest form, means being present. It means paying attention to the here and now, without letting your thoughts wander to the past or future. Imagine you are sitting quietly, taking in the sounds around you. The hum of life, the wind rustling through trees, maybe the soft noise of your own breath. When you practice mindfulness, you're not just noticing these things, you're fully engaged with them. You're feeling the moment, experiencing it, without judgment or distraction. Why is mindfulness so important when it comes to surviving alone? It's because when you're fully present, you are more grounded. You are in control of your mind, and therefore, more in control of how you respond to the world around you. When challenges arise, as they inevitably will, mindfulness allows you to face them with a clear mind and a calm heart. You won't be swept away by emotions, anxiety, or fear. Instead, you can make decisions from a place of inner peace. In Buddhism, mindfulness is often referred to as right mindfulness. It is one of the steps in the Eightfold Path, a guide to living a life of wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. Practicing right mindfulness means paying attention to your thoughts, words, and actions in a way that promotes peace and clarity. It's about creating a habit of being present, rather than allowing your mind to drift into distraction or worry. Let's say you're going through a tough time. Maybe you've lost your job or had an argument with someone close to you. In these moments, the mind can easily get overwhelmed. Thoughts race, emotions surge, and before you know it, you're lost in a sea of negativity. But mindfulness teaches you to stop, breathe, and observe. Rather than getting caught up in the story your mind is telling you, you simply observe your thoughts and feelings without attaching to them. You acknowledge them, but you don't let them control you. Think of it like sitting by a river. The river is full of all your thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Normally, we jump in and get swept away by the current. But mindfulness is like standing on the riverbank, watching the water flow by. You see the thoughts and emotions come and go, but you remain steady and unaffected. You don't try to stop the water, you don't try to control it. You just allow it to flow. This kind of mental discipline is crucial when you're alone. The world can be chaotic, but mindfulness helps you create an inner sanctuary. In the stillness of your mind, you can find clarity and peace, even in the most challenging circumstances. You are no longer a prisoner of your thoughts and emotions. You are the observer, the one who chooses how to respond. Now, how do we practice mindfulness in our daily lives? It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to sit for hours in meditation, though that's certainly helpful. You can start small. One of the easiest ways to begin is with your breath. When you're feeling anxious or stressed, simply stop for a moment and focus on your breathing. Inhale deeply, hold it for a second, and then exhale slowly. As you do this, bring your attention fully to the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. If your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to your breath. This is mindfulness in action. Another great practice is mindful walking. Next time you take a walk, try to be fully present in the experience. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Notice the sounds around you. Observe the colors and shapes of the environment. As you walk, try to let go of any judgment or commentary. Just experience each step as it comes. You'll be amazed at how much more alive and aware you feel. In Buddhism, mindfulness is often linked with meditation. Meditation gives you the space to observe your thoughts and emotions more deeply. It helps you cultivate a quiet mind that is less influenced by external distractions. Through regular meditation, you train your mind to be more focused, calm, and present. This, in turn, makes it easier to stay grounded when life becomes difficult. You are building mental resilience, which is a key part of surviving alone. But it's not just about managing difficult situations. Mindfulness also enhances your ability to appreciate the simple joys of life. The warmth of the sun on your face, the taste of your food, the sound of laughter. All of these things become more vivid and meaningful when you are present. The more you practice mindfulness, the more you will realize that happiness is not found in external circumstances, but in the way you experience the present moment. Over time, mindfulness becomes a habit. It's like a muscle that you can strengthen with practice. The more you exercise it, the more natural it becomes to stay present and focused, even in challenging situations. And the more present you are, the less likely you are to be overwhelmed by anxiety, fear, or negativity. In fact, mindfulness is one of the most effective ways to reduce stress and anxiety. When you are mindful, you are not lost in thoughts about the future or the past. You are focused on the present, which is the only moment you have control over. This can have a profound impact on your mental health and well-being. As you continue to practice mindfulness, you will notice that your capacity for patience, compassion, and wisdom grows. You begin to see things more clearly. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding with greater awareness. You become more self-aware, understanding your own habits, patterns, and triggers. This awareness is the foundation for true mental strength, and it's this strength that will carry you through moments of loneliness or isolation. When you are mindful, you are never truly alone. You are in tune with yourself, with the world around you, and with the present moment. And that is a kind of connection that can never be broken. In conclusion, mindfulness is not just a technique. It's a way of life. It's about being present with yourself, with the world, and with every experience, big or small. It gives you the strength to face life on your own terms. So, the next time you feel overwhelmed or lost, remember to stop, breathe, and be present. In that moment, you'll find all the strength you need to survive, to thrive, and to stay grounded no matter what comes your way. Contentment. Finding fulfillment within. Contentment is a treasure that many people search for their whole lives. We are often told that we need more to be happy. More money, more success, more things. We are constantly striving, constantly chasing after something outside of ourselves. But here's the thing. True contentment doesn't come from what we acquire. It comes from within. In today's world, where everyone is running after something, it can feel hard to imagine being content with what we have. We are constantly comparing ourselves to others, measuring our worth by what we own, or how much we've achieved. But if we take a moment to stop, breathe, and reflect, we realize that the external things we chase often leave us empty. More often than not, the things we think will make us happy end up adding stress, disappointment, and endless desire. Buddhism teaches us a different way, contentment as a state of mind. It's about learning to be at peace with what we have right now. You see, contentment isn't about being complacent. It's not about sitting back and doing nothing. Contentment means understanding that everything we truly need to feel at peace is already inside us. When we can cultivate this inner contentment, we no longer feel the need to chase things outside of ourselves. We become free. Now, let's pause for a moment and think. When was the last time you felt truly satisfied with just being who you are, right where you are? Think about it. So often, we tie our happiness to things that don't last. Material possessions, external recognition, or even relationships. But when those things change or disappear, we are left with an emptiness that can be difficult to fill. To find true contentment, we must shift our focus. Instead of seeking happiness in the future, or in something that is constantly changing, we learn to appreciate the present moment. Buddhism teaches us the power of mindfulness, paying attention to the here and now with full awareness. This practice helps us recognize the simple joys that are often overlooked. A warm cup of tea, a quiet moment in nature, the sound of birds singing. These small moments hold incredible value if we take the time to notice them. The beauty of contentment is that it doesn't require anything extra. It's not about having more, but about appreciating what we already have. It's about looking within and realizing that we are enough as we are. We are not defined by what we own or the titles we carry. Our worth is inherent, and it's up to us to recognize it. When we practice contentment, we can experience a deep sense of peace, regardless of what is happening around us. Think of it like this. Imagine you're in a beautiful garden. The flowers are blooming, the trees are standing tall, and there's a soft breeze. Everything around you is perfect just as it is. But then, someone walks by and points out a small weed in the corner. They say, "This garden isn't perfect. It needs to be fixed." But in that moment, you realize something important. The garden is perfect just as it is. The weed doesn't take away from the beauty of the whole. Similarly, we are like that garden. We might have imperfections, but that doesn't mean we are not enough. In fact, it's those imperfections that make us whole. When we learn to embrace contentment, we also learn the importance of gratitude. Instead of constantly wishing for what we don't have, we start to appreciate everything we do have: our health, our home, the people we love, the opportunities we've had. Gratitude is the foundation of contentment. By focusing on what we already have, we shift our mindset from scarcity to abundance. Another key aspect of contentment is letting go of our attachment to the idea of more. It's easy to think that we need to achieve certain things or acquire more possessions to be happy. But Buddhism teaches us that attachment is one of the root causes of suffering. When we cling to things, whether it's a job, a relationship, or a material possession, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Why? Because nothing in life is permanent. Everything changes. The key is to stop attaching our happiness to things that are temporary. If we take a step back, we begin to see that life is constantly in motion. Things come and go. People enter and leave our lives. Achievements are reached, then replaced by new goals. The more we chase after external things, the more we distance ourselves from true contentment. But when we learn to let go of our attachments, we free ourselves. We become able to appreciate what we have without the need for more. The concept of contentment is also tied to the Buddhist practice of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean withdrawing from the world or abandoning our responsibilities. It simply means not being overly attached to the outcomes. In every action we take, we can practice detachment. We do our best, but we let go of the need to control the results. This allows us to be more at peace with whatever happens, knowing that we are doing our best in the present moment, and that is enough. In your daily life, you can practice contentment by making small shifts in how you think and act. Start by appreciating the small things around you. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you're grateful for. It could be as simple as a warm meal, a good conversation, or a quiet moment to yourself. When you start to recognize these small joys, you'll notice that your sense of fulfillment grows. It's also important to remember that contentment doesn't mean we stop working towards our goals or improving ourselves. It simply means that we don't attach our happiness to the outcome. We enjoy the journey, the process, and the growth along the way. When we can embrace contentment, we free ourselves from the constant pressure to be better or more. We can be content with who we are, while still striving to improve and grow. True contentment comes from a deep sense of peace within ourselves. It is not dependent on the outside world. When we learn to cultivate this peace, we no longer feel like we are constantly chasing after something that will never be enough. We begin to understand that happiness and fulfillment are already within us. They don't come from external circumstances. They come from the way we choose to see and experience the world. In the end, contentment is about living in the present moment, appreciating what you have, and letting go of the need for more. It's about being at peace with who you are and understanding that you are enough, just as you are. When you cultivate this inner peace, you can face any challenge, knowing that you have everything you need within yourself. And that, my friend, is true survival in the world. Being at peace with yourself, no matter what comes your way. Non-attachment, letting go of dependencies. Imagine for a moment that you're holding a small object in your hand. It might be a pin, a stone, or a piece of jewelry. You hold it tightly, feeling its weight, knowing it's yours. But what if someone came along and asked you to let go of it? Would you be able to do it easily, or would you feel discomfort? Perhaps a little resistance, a bit of hesitation? This is a simple analogy to understand attachment. In life, we often hold on to things, people, and ideas the same way we hold on to objects in our hands. We become attached, and this attachment creates dependencies that can make it difficult to live fully independent. In Buddhism, non-attachment is a fundamental concept. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't care about people, things, or experiences. Instead, it means not allowing our happiness or peace of mind to be controlled by them. Attachment, in its essence, is a form of clinging, a mental habit that ties us to the world outside, often making us feel like we can't survive without certain things. But the truth is, you don't need to rely on anything or anyone to feel whole or fulfilled. Letting go of attachment doesn't make you cold or indifferent. It makes you free. Why is it important to let go of attachments? Simply put, attachment creates suffering. When we become too attached to something, we fear losing it. This fear can cause anxiety, stress, and a sense of insecurity. The more we cling to things, the more fragile our sense of well-being becomes. Think about your relationships, possessions, and even your expectations of the future. What happens if one of those things slips away? How do you feel? If you're deeply attached, it's likely you'll feel sadness or even despair. But what if you learn to let go? Buddhism teaches us that everything is impermanent. The world around us, our experiences, and even our emotions are constantly changing. When we understand this, we begin to see that attachment is like trying to hold on to something that is already slipping away. We can't stop time, we can't stop change, but we can choose how we respond to it. And the key is letting go. Non-attachment doesn't mean we stop caring or stop enjoying life. It's about embracing life as it is, without trying to force things to stay the same. Imagine your life like a river, flowing and changing. If you try to hold on to every drop of water, you'll never be able to move with the current. But if you allow the water to flow freely, you'll experience the river's beauty and strength without trying to control it. This is what non-attachment offers, the freedom to experience life fully without fear of loss or change. Let's explore some practical ways to practice non-attachment. The first step is to become aware of where you are attached. Start by observing your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking about something that causes you stress or anxiety, maybe it's about a relationship, your career, or your possessions, Ask yourself why you feel so strongly about it. Why does it matter so much? What would happen if you didn't have it anymore? This simple awareness is the first step toward freeing yourself from attachment. Next, try to let go of the need for control. So much of our attachment comes from trying to control situations, people, and outcomes. But the truth is, control is an illusion. You can influence things, but you can't control everything. When you release the need to control, you free yourself from the constant tension and stress that comes with trying to make everything go according to your plan. It's like trying to keep a sailboat moving forward by holding onto the rudder too tightly. Sometimes, you need to let the wind guide you. Another practice is to shift your focus to the present moment. Often, our attachments arise because we are either regretting the past or worrying about the future. But the present moment is all we truly have. By focusing on what's happening right now, we stop the cycle of longing for what we don't have or fearing what we might lose. When you embrace the present, you realize that everything you need to be happy and at peace is already here. One of the most powerful ways to practice non-attachment is through meditation. Meditation helps you observe your thoughts and feelings without becoming attached to them. When you sit in silence, you can simply notice the passing of thoughts, like clouds drifting across the sky. You don't need to hold on to any of them, and you don't need to push them away. You just let them come and go, learning to be at peace with the natural flow of your mind. Non-attachment also requires cultivating a deep sense of self-reliance. When you let go of your attachment to things outside of yourself, you begin to realize that true happiness and peace come from within. You don't need external validation, approval, or possessions to feel complete. This is where Buddhist teachings on the nature of self come into play. This self is not a fixed thing, but rather a collection of thoughts, feelings, and experiences. When you stop identifying yourself with your attachments, you begin to experience a sense of freedom and clarity. Letting go of attachment doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, one that requires patience and self-compassion. But as you practice, you'll begin to notice subtle shifts in how you relate to the world. You'll find that you don't need to hold on so tightly anymore. You'll be able to face challenges without fear of losing everything. And you'll discover a deep well of peace and resilience within yourself that you may have never known was there. Finally, non-attachment brings with it the profound sense of gratitude. When you stop clinging to things, you start appreciating what you have in the moment. Without the pressure of needing things to stay the same or to meet your expectations, you can experience life with a sense of wonder and appreciation. The simple joys of being alive become enough, and that's when true contentment arises. In conclusion, practicing non-attachment is not about rejecting the world or becoming disconnected from others. It's about finding freedom from the fear of loss, from the need to control, and from the endless cycle of desire. By letting go of attachment, you open yourself to the richness of life, as it is, in its ever-changing, impermanent beauty. Through Buddhism, we learn that we are enough as we are, without needing to hold on to anything or anyone to define us. When we embrace non-attachment, we truly begin to live with clarity, peace, and strength. Self-discipline, cultivating a strong mind. In the pursuit of surviving alone, one of the most essential qualities you must nurture is self-discipline. Without it, everything becomes chaotic. Your thoughts, your actions, your direction. Self-discipline is the foundation of a resilient mind, a mind that is calm, strong, and unshaken by the turbulence of life. Without discipline, even the simplest task can become overwhelming. But with it, you can navigate the most difficult situations with clarity and purpose. Imagine, for a moment, a tree in a storm. The wind howls, the rain lashes, and yet the tree stands firm. It doesn't break or bend easily because its roots are deep in the ground, grounded by the earth. In the same way, self-discipline is your inner root. It's what keeps you stable when life's storms come. When you're disciplined, you have control over your thoughts, actions, and reactions. You make choices based on what is right for you, not on what's easy or convenient. You begin to train your mind to stay focused, to stay calm, no matter what challenges arise. Buddhism teaches us that the mind is like a wild horse, constantly running in all directions. Without discipline, it races out of control, chasing every thought and desire, leaving us feeling scattered and exhausted. But with the right practices, we can tame this wild horse. We can teach it to be still, to be present, and to move with purpose. This process of taming the mind is not easy, but it is possible. It requires consistent effort, patience, and, most importantly, a commitment to yourself. One of the simplest ways to begin cultivating self-discipline is through meditation. Meditation is like the exercise that strengthens your mind. It's a practice where you learn to sit quietly, to focus on your breath, and to observe your thoughts without getting caught up in them. At first, it might be difficult. Your mind will wander. Thoughts will pop up, and distractions will arise. But with time, you'll start to notice the power of being able to sit still. Your mind becomes quieter, sharper, and more focused. You learn to let go of unnecessary thoughts, to calm the restless chatter, and to focus on what truly matters. In addition to meditation, self-discipline can be cultivated by setting small goals and following through with them. Think about a task you want to complete, whether it's something big or small, and break it down into smaller steps. Discipline means sticking to those steps, even when you don't feel like it. It's about showing up for yourself every day, no matter how hard it might seem. Each time you follow through, you build trust in yourself. You prove to yourself that you can rely on your own willpower, that you are capable of achieving what you set your mind to. Another key aspect of self-discipline is managing your desires. We live in a world full of distractions. Everywhere we look, there's something pulling us away from our goals, our responsibilities, and our peace. But Buddhism teaches us that our desires are the root of suffering. The more we chase after fleeting pleasures and material things, the more we become enslaved to them. Discipline means learning to control your desires, to focus on what is truly important, and to let go of the rest. It's about living simply, without being driven by the need for more. For example, think about your relationship with food. If you let your desires control you, you might eat when you're not hungry, overeat, or choose unhealthy foods because they satisfy a temporary craving. But with discipline, you learn to listen to your body, to eat only when you're truly hungry, and to choose foods that nourish you. This is not about deprivation. It's about making choices that are in alignment with your well-being. It's about learning to say no to things that don't serve you, and yes to things that help you grow. Self-discipline also means taking responsibility for your actions. In Buddhism, there is a deep understanding of karma, the idea that our actions have consequences. When you are disciplined, you recognize that every choice you make, no matter how small, shapes your life. You begin to take full responsibility for your decisions, knowing that they have the power to either bring you closer to peace or pull you further away from it. The more disciplined you become, the more conscious you are of your actions, and the more aligned you become with your true self. One of the greatest benefits of cultivating self-discipline is the sense of inner freedom it provides. It may seem like discipline restricts you, but in reality, it's the opposite. Discipline frees you from the tyranny of your impulses, your fears, and your doubts. It gives you control over your life, so you can make choices that align with your values and goals. Instead of being ruled by external circumstances, you become the master of your own fate. As you grow in discipline, you begin to notice a shift in how you respond to challenges. Instead of reacting impulsively, you start to act with intention. Your mind becomes less cluttered, and you are able to think clearly, make wise decisions, and move forward with confidence. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start becoming the creator of your reality. It's also important to remember that self-discipline is not about perfection. You don't have to be perfect every single day. You will slip up, you will face setbacks, but the key is to not give up. The moment you fall, pick yourself back up. It's the persistence, the commitment to getting back on track, that truly matters. Self-discipline is a lifelong journey, not a destination. It's about progress, not perfection. Over time, you'll find that self-discipline becomes second nature. It's no longer something you have to force or think about constantly. It becomes a natural part of who you are. You start to live with greater purpose and intention, and the peace and resilience that come with it are unmatched. Self-discipline allows you to navigate life with strength, calmness, and focus. You no longer feel like a leaf blown by the wind. Instead, you are the tree, standing firm in the face of whatever comes your way. The practice of self-discipline, as taught in Buddhism, is not just about controlling your actions, but also about cultivating a disciplined mind. It's about learning to master your thoughts, to not let them control you. It's about becoming the observer of your mind, understanding that you are not your thoughts. This awareness is the first step toward inner freedom. When you master your mind, you master your life. Ultimately, the power of self-discipline lies in its ability to help you survive alone, not in isolation, but in the peace and strength that comes from within. When you cultivate this practice, you become less dependent on external circumstances and more rooted in your own inner wisdom. You become capable of navigating any challenge, no matter how difficult, with a clear mind and a calm heart. You are no longer at the mercy of life's unpredictability because you have developed the internal strength to handle whatever comes your way. Through self-discipline, you learn that you are your own greatest ally, and in this realization, you find the ultimate freedom, the freedom to be who you truly are, no matter the circumstances. Compassion for oneself, embracing solitude with kindness. In our fast-paced world, we often forget to be kind to ourselves. We push ourselves harder, believing that self-criticism and judgment will help us grow. But, in truth, we can't expect to be strong or resilient if we don't first show ourselves compassion. Compassion is not just about helping others, it's also about offering ourselves the same care, understanding, and kindness that we would give to a dear friend. When we face difficult times, especially when alone, it's easy to become our own worst enemy. We think we're not good enough, that we're failing, or that we don't deserve peace. But that's not the way to survive. True survival, especially when alone, comes from the place of self-love and acceptance. It's about looking at yourself with kind eyes, no matter what happens around you. Let me explain this with a simple story. Imagine a tree in the forest. During a storm, the branches may bend, and some leaves might fall off, but the tree doesn't criticize itself for losing leaves. Instead, it stays grounded, embracing the change. It doesn't rush to grow back all the leaves. It simply accepts what is, knowing that, in time, new leaves will grow. Similarly, we need to be like that tree. We must be gentle with ourselves, understanding that challenges are part of the journey. In difficult moments, we can't expect perfection from ourselves. We must accept our struggles, give ourselves space to heal, and trust that we will grow stronger, just like the tree. Buddhism teaches us that compassion is a deep understanding of the suffering we face and how it connects us to all beings. It asks us not to turn away from our pain, but to face it with loving kindness. When we practice compassion, we realize that we are not alone in our suffering. Every person faces their own struggles, and our pain is a shared human experience. This understanding can be incredibly freeing. When you begin to treat yourself with compassion, something changes within. You stop fighting yourself. You stop punishing yourself for every little mistake or imperfection. Instead, you learn to nurture yourself through the tough times. It's important to recognize that being alone doesn't mean you are weak or less than. It simply means you are in a space where you can deeply connect with who you are. And that's a powerful thing. In Buddhist philosophy, the concept of metta, loving kindness, is central. It encourages us to direct kindness not only towards others, but also towards ourselves. When we cultivate loving kindness within, we can face any hardship with the right mindset. When we find ourselves in difficult situations, it's this compassion that gives us the strength to endure. We need to treat ourselves like we would treat a friend in need, gently, kindly, and without judgment. Often, we believe that to survive, we need to be tough, to grit our teeth, and push through the pain. But this mentality can make us more vulnerable, not stronger. Pushing ourselves too hard without kindness leads to burnout and exhaustion. We may become so focused on surviving that we forget to live. That's where self-compassion comes in. It gives us the emotional fuel to keep going without running out of energy or spirit. It's important to recognize that self-compassion isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily practice. You might feel frustrated or upset with yourself at times, but when you meet yourself with kindness, those feelings can pass. It's not about eliminating the negative thoughts or emotions, but about learning how to handle them with grace. In the face of adversity, the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to take a moment to breathe, acknowledge your feelings, and offer yourself comfort. This practice is especially important when you are alone. There are moments in life when we find ourselves isolated, not just physically, but emotionally. It's in those moments that we often become our harshest critics. You might think, I should be doing more, or I should be stronger. But the truth is, you are already enough. You are already worthy of peace, and you don't need to prove anything to anyone, not even to yourself. Take time each day to check in with yourself. How do you feel? What do you need? Are you being kind to yourself? If the answer is no, it's okay. The key is to start practicing self-compassion right now, in this moment. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey. What matters is that you start. Over time, this practice will become second nature, and you'll begin to notice that even in difficult situations, you can find peace within yourself. Sometimes, people are afraid to embrace solitude because they fear they will face their own flaws and weaknesses. But solitude can be a powerful teacher. When you are alone, you are free from distractions, and this gives you the chance to reflect on your life, your actions, and your mindset. Instead of running away from yourself, you can learn to sit with yourself and be okay with who you are. The more you learn to love and accept yourself in solitude, the more resilient you become when faced with life's challenges. When you are compassionate toward yourself, you create an internal environment that supports growth and healing. You build a relationship with yourself that is based on love, trust, and understanding. This is what allows you to face life's toughest moments without feeling overwhelmed. You understand that you can weather any storm because you have yourself to rely on, and you treat yourself with the love and care you deserve. True strength doesn't come from ignoring your emotions or pretending that everything is okay. Strength comes from being real with yourself, acknowledging your vulnerabilities, and still choosing to show up for yourself. It comes from forgiving yourself when you fall short and cheering yourself on when you succeed. Self-compassion is the key to living a balanced, peaceful life, even when you are on your own. The next time you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself to be kind. You are doing the best you can. Life is a journey, and sometimes it's messy and complicated, but you are worthy of love, even from yourself. When you embrace solitude with compassion, you'll find that you not only survive but thrive, even in the most challenging circumstances. Meditative practices for clarity and resilience. When life feels overwhelming, when challenges seem too big to overcome, it's easy to feel lost or confused. But what if I told you that the answer to finding clarity and strength is already within you? In the midst of uncertainty, there's one tool that has stood the test of time, helping countless people around the world find peace, clarity, and resilience. Meditation. Meditation is not just a practice for monks or people living in temples. It's a simple, yet profound, way to connect with your own mind, quiet the noise, and tap into a deeper understanding of yourself. At its core, meditation teaches us how to slow down and observe our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without getting caught up in them. When you learn to observe instead of react, you gain control over your mind rather than letting your mind control you. Let's start with a simple form of meditation, mindful breathing. This is something you can practice anywhere, at any time, even when you're in the middle of a busy day. The key is to focus all your attention on your breath. Close your eyes if you can, and take a deep breath in through your nose. Feel the air filling your lungs. Hold it for a moment, and then slowly exhale through your mouth. With each breath, feel yourself grounding in the present moment. If your mind starts to wander, gently bring your focus back to your breath. This practice can be done for just a few minutes, but it has the power to clear your mind and bring you back to a place of calm. As you practice mindful breathing, you'll notice that your mind starts to settle. The constant stream of thoughts that usually runs through your head begins to quiet down. In this space of stillness, you begin to experience clarity. When your mind is clear, you can see things more clearly, without the confusion or emotional reaction that often clouds your judgment. You can make decisions from a place of calm and insight rather than fear or anxiety. Now, let's take this a step further. Body-scan meditation is another practice that can help you connect with your body and mind in a deeper way. This practice involves mentally scanning your body from head to toe, noticing any areas of tension or discomfort. The idea is to bring awareness to each part of your body, one by one, without judgment. You simply observe. This practice helps you become more aware of how your body feels and can release built-up tension that may be hindering your mental clarity. For example, Begin by focusing on your toes. Notice how they feel. Are they relaxed or tense? Slowly move your attention up to your feet, your legs, your hips, and so on, all the way up to the top of your head. If you notice any tightness, simply acknowledge it without trying to force it away. With each breath, allow that part of your body to relax. This practice not only helps with physical tension, but also clears mental blockages, giving you space to breathe and think freely. Meditation is also about cultivating self-awareness. The more you meditate, the more you become aware of the patterns in your thinking. You might notice that you often feel anxious about the future or regretful about the past. Meditation allows you to see these patterns without becoming trapped by them. You learn to accept your thoughts and feelings without attaching to them, which helps you to respond to life's challenges with more clarity and resilience. A powerful meditation technique used in Buddhism is called loving-kindness meditation, or metta. This practice is about cultivating positive feelings toward yourself and others, even those you might find difficult. In the practice, you silently repeat phrases like, "May I be happy," "May I be safe," "May I be healthy," "May I live with ease." Once you send these wishes to yourself, you can extend them to others, your loved ones, strangers, and even people you don't get along with. The beauty of loving-kindness meditation is that it softens your heart. It brings compassion not only to others, but also to yourself. Many of us are quick to criticize ourselves when we fail or when things don't go as planned. But through meditation, you can learn to treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a friend. This creates a sense of emotional resilience. Instead of beating yourself up, you begin to support yourself with compassion, helping you bounce back stronger in the face of difficulties. You may be wondering, how does meditation build resilience? The answer lies in the fact that meditation helps you develop a calm and steady mind. When life challenges you, it's easy to react impulsively. However, when you've trained your mind through regular meditation, you learn how to respond with patience and clarity. You begin to trust yourself to handle whatever comes your way. Think about this. When you're in the middle of a stressful situation, your heart races, your thoughts become chaotic, and it can feel impossible to think straight. This is where meditation steps in. The more you practice, the more you train your mind to stay calm. You don't get caught up in the panic or stress. Instead, you approach problems with a sense of clarity and balance. You realize that no matter what happens, you have the inner strength to stay composed. As your meditation practice deepens, you'll find that you begin to respond to life's challenges with more resilience. When you face difficulties, whether they are external challenges or emotional struggles, meditation helps you detach from the storm. You no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstances. Instead, you realize that you are the observer, the one who can step back and choose how to respond. This resilience isn't about avoiding pain or difficulty. Life will always bring challenges, but meditation allows you to face those challenges with a heart that remains open, a mind that stays clear, and a spirit that remains unshaken. It helps you become the type of person who, even in the most difficult times, can stand firm and face life with courage and wisdom. Through meditation, you also begin to see that much of our suffering is self-created. We often hold on to thoughts, beliefs, and emotions that no longer serve us. Meditation helps you let go of the need to control everything. It teaches you to trust the natural flow of life. This understanding frees you from the constant struggle, allowing you to move forward with ease and grace. Meditation is a path of transformation. It's not a quick fix, but with consistent practice, it has the power to completely change how you experience life. It helps you become more resilient, more grounded, and more connected to your inner peace. And the best part is, you don't have to be a Buddhist monk to practice it. You can begin right where you are, with just a few minutes a day, and gradually build a habit that brings deep, lasting change. So, if you're looking to become stronger, more resilient, and clearer in your approach to life's challenges, meditation is your key. It's a practice that strengthens not just your mind, but your entire being. It empowers you to survive and thrive in the face of adversity, no matter where you are or what you're going through. Start small, be patient, and remember, the more you meditate, the more you tap into your own inner strength. Living simply, the beauty of minimalism. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the constant noise and clutter of life? In today's world, We're surrounded by so many things: gadgets, clothes, possessions, distractions, and yet, we often feel emptier than ever. We think we need more things, more money, more connections. But deep down, we know something is missing. What if the key to surviving alone and thriving in this world wasn't about acquiring more, but about having less? What if simplicity was the answer? In Buddhism, living simply is not just a lifestyle choice, it's a path to true freedom. The Buddha taught that our desires and attachments to material things are the root cause of suffering. We chase after things that don't bring lasting happiness, and in doing so, we lose sight of what truly matters. Imagine if you could let go of all the things that weigh you down, not just physical things, but mental and emotional baggage as well. What would it be like to live in the present moment, free from the distractions that constantly pull you away from peace? Living simply doesn't mean living with nothing. It means living with what truly matters. It's about eliminating the unnecessary and focusing on what brings you joy, peace, and purpose. Think of it as decluttering your mind and soul, not just your home. The more we let go of, the more space we create for things that truly nourish us: our thoughts, our relationships, and our inner peace. The idea of simplicity in Buddhism is rooted in the concept of contentment. Contentment is the practice of being at peace with what you have right now, without needing anything more to feel complete. This doesn't mean you stop striving for growth or success. It means you stop thinking that you need something outside of yourself to make you happy. True happiness comes from within, not from external things. When you simplify your life, you make room for that inner contentment to bloom. Let's look at how simplicity shows up in practical ways. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Is it a long list of tasks, worries, and things you need to buy or do? Or can you wake up with a sense of gratitude for simply being alive? A simple practice to start your day with a clear mind is to take a few moments to breathe deeply and appreciate the present moment. Look around you, notice the small things: a ray of sunshine, the sound of birds outside, the warmth of your bed. These are the simple joys that many of us overlook in the rush of daily life. By appreciating these small moments, we bring ourselves back to the present and away from the chaos of a busy mind. As you go through your day, notice how much time and energy you spend on things that don't truly matter. How often do you check your phone, scroll through social media, or engage in activities that don't add value to your life? Simplifying your day means being intentional with your time. It means saying no to distractions and yes to the things that truly nourish your mind, body, and soul. When you cut out the noise, you make space for what really matters. Whether that's spending time with loved ones, pursuing a passion, or simply being with yourself in peace. One of the most powerful ways to simplify your life is by reducing the clutter in your physical space. In Buddhism, there's a practice called detachment, not being attached to material possessions. Many of us hold on to things we don't need simply because we've become attached to them. But by letting go of items that no longer serve a purpose, we free ourselves from the burden of unnecessary stuff. Look around your living space. Are there things that you no longer use or that no longer bring you joy? The act of decluttering is not just physical. It's emotional and mental as well. When you let go of things, you make room for new energy, new experiences, and new growth. Simplicity also applies to how we interact with others. We live in a world where relationships can sometimes become complicated and overwhelming. We're constantly juggling different roles, responsibilities, and expectations. But what if we could simplify our relationships by focusing on quality rather than quantity? In Buddhism, there's an understanding that true connection comes from being present and mindful with others, not from trying to please everyone or seeking approval. By living simply in our relationships, we focus on what's truly important: love, compassion, and understanding. Take a moment to reflect on your life. Are you living simply? Are there areas where you're holding on to things that no longer serve you? Whether it's physical possessions, emotional baggage, or unnecessary distractions, living simply can free you from the weight that holds you back. When you simplify your life, you make space for what truly matters: peace, joy, and the freedom to be yourself. One of the most profound lessons of simplicity is understanding that we don't need to constantly chase after external things to feel fulfilled. Happiness isn't found in the next purchase the next vacation, or the next achievement. It's found in the present moment, in the space between the busy moments of life. By simplifying your surroundings and your mind, you open yourself to the beauty that already exists in the world around you. You stop searching for happiness in the future and begin to find it right here, right now. Living simply also allows you to become more connected to the world around you. When you're not distracted by the noise of excess, you can see the beauty in the small things. You begin to notice the colors of nature, the sounds of the wind, the simplicity of a smile from a stranger. These moments of connection are what make life rich, and they are often overlooked in the rush for more. The Buddhist teachings on simplicity encourage us to let go of attachments, not just to physical things, but to the ideas of who we should be or what we should have. When you stop chasing after external validation, you become free to live as your authentic self. You don't need to conform to society's expectations or the pressures of material success. You are enough just as you are. This is the true essence of freedom. Freedom from the need to possess, to achieve, and to impress. As you embark on your journey of living simply, remember that this isn't about deprivation. It's about making conscious choices that lead to greater peace, fulfillment, and contentment. You don't need to have it all to be happy. By simplifying your life, you clear the path for more meaningful experiences, deeper relationships, and a stronger connection to your own inner wisdom. In the end, simplicity is not about living with less, it's about living with more awareness. The more you simplify your life, the more you realize that everything you need to thrive is already within you. By embracing a simpler, more mindful way of living, you can truly learn to survive alone, not in isolation, but with an inner peace that makes you whole. And when you cultivate this simplicity, you not only survive alone, you thrive in your own presence.